welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde. I am joined along special guest Colton Schroka from Talking the Line Sports Media. Your number one place to go for betting moving forward after this episode. You will not be let down. We will get into that in just a second, but today we are jumping into the hottest topic in Chicago sports, and it was the Chicago Bulls till about an hour ago. Matt Nagy has officially named Justin Fields the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears moving forward over it. Let's go, baby. QB1. The future of Chicago is here. We got it all here for you right now, but before we dive into it, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Stupid Car Tray. Stupid Car Tray is what everyone needs, keeping your passenger seat level and secure. Great for hauling deep dish pizza and taco dip to your football viewing party. Visit the link in the description below and use code JAY16 at checkout. That's J16 for 16% off your entire order. Colton, welcome to the show.
I am incredibly honored and humbled to be here, Nick. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. You gave me a little shout out there at the beginning. Yes, we are at Talking the Line on Twitter, your number one place in the Windy City for sports betting insights, analysis, information, bets, laughs. Hey, we are not buttoned up suits. You're not just going to see us sit there and talk about bets and just some numbers random. We like to sweat with you. We like to tell you why we are sweating with you as well. But enough of that. We'll get into it at the end of the show, get into all that good stuff. Make sure you guys have an opportunity to come cash some tickets, as we like to say at TTL. But for now, my friend, Nick, thank you so much for having me. Let's get into your show. Let's get into the hottest of the hot right now.
All right, and this is going to change up things for you moving forward, especially for bets. You know, Justin Fields gives a lot of opportunity for the Chicago Bears. So more to come on that. Very excited. And just a quick shout out to Illinois State University. Reason why I'm wearing the hat is Colton and I met in a marketing sales class my senior year at college and Colton's senior year. It's crazy that we had no idea we'd be sitting here a couple of years later. So
look at us, right? Hey, roll birds all the way. Making content, having a great time. I absolutely love it, man. Again, I am so humbled to be able to hang out with you here for a little while, talk about the Bears, the team we love, and reconnect and get back onto the right track. So can't wait. Let's go. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Justin Fields, starter QB1 for the Chicago Bears moving forward. This is not a one-game stint according to the Chicago Bears. It is permanent. Justin Fields is number one moving over to the rest of the season. And Matt Nagy is a man on a mission to make sure every therapist in Chicago is dealing with this roller coaster of emotions. Everyone's swamped. You can't talk to anybody right now. You know who you got to come talk to? Colton and I, because we're going to make you feel a whole lot better about it. And just to make you feel that much more confident in Justin Fields was told last night by Matt Nagy on a quick phone call saying, hey, kid, you're getting the nod. You're QB1 moving forward. We're going to announce it tomorrow. Go celebrate. Do what you have to do. Justin Fields' parents found out. Justin called them and they said, oh, we're coming up to celebrate. They came all the way to Chicago to celebrate. And you know what Justin Fields said? Go do your own thing. I'm going to go study game at home with my dog because I got a game coming up this Sunday. The quarterback that just wants to keep on winning Bears fans over. Colton, what was your initial reaction to hearing the news about Justin Fields?
Speaking of dog, and shout out to Justin Fields' dog, Uno, the man is a dog himself. I have been following Justin Fields since he played high school ball in Suwanee, Georgia. Shout out, Justin. I cannot believe that you are the quarterback of my Chicago Bears. Blew my mind when we drafted you. Let me just lay the scene with that. I am beside myself that we have now reverted the script, if you will, once again. Nagy was beating the drum that Dalton is my starter, Dalton is my starter, Dalton is my starter, and now we see the update. Dalton, full participant in practice. Oh no, I thought the Red Rifle's getting the start. We're going into the Death Star. He's going to get killed. We might as well just write him off already. My friend, the next notification I get that follows that up is Justin Fields is going to be the starter going forward. I can't believe it. I'm beside myself. I am juiced up. He gets better game by game. Now, I know, my friends, it was just the Lions last week. Not the most or the best competition you can say. No shade at the Lions by any means. Love Motor City Dan Campbell, but no kneecaps were bit off last week. I am so excited to see what this kid can do. Obviously got lit up against Cleveland, but I think that was because of some of the play calling, and I do believe we'll get into that later on in the show. But to put a cap on it, my friend, I am juiced. I think this is going to be an absolute electric game in the Death Star in Vegas, Las Vegas Strip, Bears, Raiders. Let's go. I cannot wait.
I mean, what else could you ask for? Sin City, Vegas, betting That your ears perk up when you hear that. And then Justin Fields is out there. This is the Bears' first time visiting Las Vegas as the Raiders are playing in their brand new Death Star Stadium. So, let's just break down exactly what Justin Fields did last week against the Lions. He did very well his first game, in his first game as a starter at home for these Chicago Bears. Again, playing at home is a whole nother ball game because we're the greatest fans in the world. There's no doubt about that.
100%. No question.
No question about it. Fields went 11 for 17 with 209 yards and an interception. Now, the interception was not his fault. It was a tip off the defensive line. Mooney fell, who could have swatted it away or done something with it, and the Lions picked it up. That was the only, really big pro for the Lions that day on defense. Other than that, there was not really much else going on there. He had 3 rushes for 9 yards, so he really didn't have to use his legs that much because he's throwing the ball at Darnell Mooney, who had 5 catches for 125 yards that day. Some very good choices, deep, clean throws, and made plays himself. Justin Fields already has progressed significantly since that Cleveland game, and I got to agree with you on that. It was the play callers issue. We'll get into that in a minute, though. Dalton, and, I'm happy you brought that up because, when we wrote this script yesterday, we were under the impression Andy Dalton's the starter for the Chicago Bears. And then you get the notification from Adam Hodge and Brad Biggs saying, Andy Dalton was a full participant in practice today. 2 seconds later, Justin Fields is the starter for the Chicago Bears. So Dalton's healthy, very happy to hear it. Nothing but respect for Andy Dalton. Shout out to Andy Dalton, man. Like, it's hard coming into a place like Chicago with so much hate out of the gate. I mean, there was nothing but hate for this guy before we even had Justin Fields. And, he really didn't do that bad for, under even Matt Nagy. I mean, Bill Lazor would have made him probably even better, but he didn't do that bad. It sucks that the knee injury happened, but Dalton could very well be the starter elsewhere next year. It's only a 1-year contract with the Chicago Bears. But Andy Dalton, just a quick history about Andy Dalton and Bill Lazor before we get into the play calling officially. Andy Dalton worked with current play caller Bill Lazor for 2 years in Cincinnati in 2017 and 2018. He threw for nearly 6,000 yards, 46 touchdown passes, and 23 interceptions. So 2-to-1 ratio, not bad. 3,000 yard seasons. You can't complain because that's something the Bears haven't had for a while. So there was going to be success with Andy Dalton if he was a quarterback, but that's not the case here. Justin Fields is the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. I know I can't stop saying it because I'm so excited about it. Colton, do you think that, Andy Dalton, like we said on Monday or Matt Nagy on Monday was saying that Andy Dalton was the starter for the Chicago Bears if healthy? Do you think that ownership, the media, other coaches, or any other external sources had something to do with the change of heart and making Justin Fields QB1 moving forward?
I do believe so. I think that's one of the big things. One of my favorite moments from this week so far was the legendary Swagoo, Marcus Spears, on Get Up. He sat there and he said, I got to ask pretty much the same question, and or what is Matt Nagy doing? He said, you know what? I don't know, because he ain't going to listen to any of us. We don't know anything. We don't know what's going on. We obviously have never watched football or analyzed football ever in our lives. I'm just going to leave it at that and let you guys talk. Well, it's almost as if he saw that and was like, oh, the collar's getting a little tighter. Maybe I do need to listen to what these people are talking about. And shout out Warren Sharp, too. Warren Sharp's season preview. He literally wrote about the exact things that the Bears needed not to do, and they were doing it to start the season. So it absolutely is great that the play calling is getting transferred. I'm a little bit nervous if by any means that Matt Nagy would think that he needs to take the play calling back. I hope that doesn't happen because obviously it looked really good. Why I say I'm nervous is that he kind of got back up on the podium and was real excited to claim that I am the head coach that made that decision to allow Bill Lazor to call those plays. So just a little nervous, no shade at our head coach, but hey, obviously he's not the most loved man in the Windy City right now. But all of that being said, I'm really excited to see what kind of a product we can put out there in Allegiant Stadium and on the Vegas Strip, like you were saying.
No, and listen, this by no means is there any hate in regards to, Matt Nagy. This is like, feel free to let your feelings. Again, Colton and I are your therapists today. You want to say something about Matt Nagy? Say it. It's, something that's going on here, say it. Feel free. But, Matt Nagy, he's got such an interesting way of working, and no one's getting tricked. No,
that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
It's just, he loves control. There is no doubt about that. He is that coach, respect that coach. Thanks for leading the team, coach. 12-4 back in 2018. Cough, cough, Vic Fangio led that team, not you. But anyway, let's go to a more positive subject. What do we expect from Justin Fields now moving forward, especially this week against a Raiders defense? Again, Tony and I will have game preview this upcoming Friday, but what Colton and I expect right now, initial reaction. I'll kick things off. Then Colton, I want you to hit on two things that come to mind when you think of everything going on. But my first one is that there's going to continue to be a lot of deep passes for Justin Fields. With David Montgomery going out for the next 4 to 5 weeks, and Damian Williams is questionable for this upcoming Sunday's game, the Bears are kind of in a weird position. How are we going to get yards? We can't just do slant routes. That wasn't working. The Bears have I think now the fastest wide receiver room with Jakeem Grant, who we just picked up from Miami. We're going to get into that in a second too. But just throw that sucker up. Justin Fields is a very accurate deep throw quarterback. We have not had that for a very long time, honestly, since Jay Cutler. And in my personal opinion, you could argue Mitch had it at points, but overall, expect a lot of deep passes because Laser knows that Justin Fields can fire the ball downfield to Mooney, Bird, Goodwin, you name it. He'll throw it up to them. The second one is that you're going to see Justin Fields feel more comfortable changing the play at the line. Bill Laser is going to give him a million different scenarios this upcoming week. Be like, hey, in this situation, I want you to switch the play to this, or consider switching the play to this. If you see the defense like this, I want you to read the defense like this, because that is exactly what's going to be coming. He's going to put a lot of options in Fields' hands and allow Fields to change the play at the line if needed, because Oakland has a pretty decent defense. There's no denial of that. And now that the rookie has worked more with the ones for 2 weeks in a row now, Fields will feel better about changing the plays at the line and understanding the weapons he has in front of him. So very excited to see that. Again, it's a process, folks. He's not a finished product. Every week you're going to see some new stuff. So deep ball passes we obviously saw, but I see Fields being comfortable or trying changing the plays at the line. Colton, what are two things you expect this week from Justin Fields now that he is officially QB1?
So briefly, before I get into those 2 points, kind of to build on what you were saying, yeah, I do think that it is a process. It takes time. On our daily show, me and my partner, Riley Magnuson, we talk about the improvement we've seen over Zach Wilson. And why have we seen that improvement? Because he has been tossed into the fire and given that opportunity to learn and to grow. He's not going to get that from the sidelines. You also talk about the deep passing, the wide receivers. I think that is going to be something huge for this week. Now, what I also believe, though, is that I'm not as high on that Jakeem Grant addition as you are. I do believe he only has 2 receptions for -7 yards with the Miami Dolphins this year. Showed flashes last year. Hopefully he can get back to that speedster, but I don't know why we feel the need to keep targeting wide receivers under 6 foot. I feel like everybody is so on our outside of Allen Robinson, and it just really raises a lot of concerns for me. Sure, Fields can sling it, but man, more often than not, I'd like to not have to depend on Darnell Moody's 7,000-inch vertical if we could. You also mentioned Bill Laser, giving him those options. I love that. I also love something I heard from Justin this week, that kind of a calming presence and voice that Laser is up in the box. And sometimes Nagy just gets a little too into his head coaching stuff, and he really likes having Laser in his ear. So I think that's going to pay huge dividends. And that's kind of where I was going to take it. But also something a little different, something your fans might not always get, maybe that they might be out there listening now, is that the Bears have opened up as 5.5-point underdogs to the Raiders this upcoming week. Obviously, we've been talking about it playing in Las Vegas. Something interesting that it is a little bit below that key number of 6. Obviously, as a Bears fan, as Bears fans all you are, you never like to really bet on that number. Try and back your team, because then if they lose, you're double losing out. It's just never a good thing to do. But my friends, 5.5 is extremely, extremely profitable in the NFL, and I really like that number. So although I won't be playing it, I do think there is some value on our Bears to win this outright. If we can generate some pressure, my friends, I think that is going to be key. That would be my final closing thought, is that we have to keep the pressure up on defense. We have to continue to see it from Bobby Quinn. We have to continue to see it from Khalil. And then once we get the interior guys back, obviously we missed, help me out, I'm blanking here, interior defender, best rushing defender in the league.
Oh, Akeem Hicks?
Akeem Hicks, there we go. Came to me as soon as I said that. We obviously missed him a little bit. Once we get everything going once again on that line and we can generate consistent pressure. You saw it last week with the Chargers against the Raiders. When they got pressure on Carr, he looked like a deer in the headlights, much like Jared Goff did last week, getting the football fumbled off of his forehead. So something to think about there. I think that's going to be really key. I can't wait to see how everything kind of unfolds here. If we keep playing as we have been in this past week, again, Lions not the biggest barometer of measurement of how good we are, but if we play half of that, I think we got a damn good chance in Las Vegas.
So I really like the approach that you took, and thanks for sharing. I really like that approach because if the defense takes pressure off and the defense makes things happen, Justin Fields will have a better game. I could not agree more with that. And, shout out to the defense. I know we're not really hitting on that. Well, actually, let's just go into quick updates real fast because there is a couple really good updates.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy you brought up Jakeem Grant. So Jakeem Grant is a wide receiver on paper, but really the Bears brought him in for his kick return and punt return specialist abilities. He improves our return game significantly. We got rid of Webster. I'm not sure if anyone saw that. We did waive him. So best of luck to him. He did fine. I just don't think he was as big as a threat as Grant is going to be. The Bears traded a 2023 6th-round pick. Not a bad deal considering there's also a small cap hit. But here's something that a lot of people sleep on, is that he was a second-team All-Pro last year as a kick returner and punt returner. So not a bad deal. We're missing Cordell Patterson, who is absolutely ripping it up in Atlanta, by the way. Just want to throw that out there.
Where was that last year? What's going on with that? Why couldn't we utilize him like that is what I'm trying to figure out. But I digress. Please, sir, continue.
No, because I'm going to ask you this. Who was our play caller last year?
Oh, Matthew Nagy.
The Blazer was in there a little bit.
Every once in a while. Yeah, everyone towards the end of the year, for sure.
Yeah, so let's go just a little bit into the defense really fast, and we'll jump into injuries before we go into what, a little bit more about Colton, is that Robert Quinn is tied for 6th, and it's a 4-way tie for 6th, so technically 3rd place in the NFL with 4.5 sacks. What a bounce back here for Robert Quinn. And then on the other side of the ball, Khalil Mack is right behind him with 4 sacks. Bears lead the league with 15 team sacks. That is amazing. What a bounce back this year. Sean Desai, shout out to you. You are unlocking this defense as much as possible. Great to hear it. A couple of more things. Obviously, with the David Montgomery injury, he's out 4 to 5 weeks with a hyperextended knee. Wishing him a quick and full recovery. Monty is known to heal fast. He had that groin injury last year, so stay tuned. Hopefully, he'll be back. That's what I'm saying. He'll be back. He'll be back, folks. Don't panic. But Artavius Pierce was signed to the practice squad from the Chicago Bears, making him and Ryan Knoll both the running backs on the practice squad. One of them is likely to get called up for the Las Vegas Raiders game. Stay tuned for that. We're not sure about who it is going to be. Most likely Pierce, but Ryan Knoll is the practice squad legend, so who knows? He might end up coming up. But back to injuries. Again, Dave Montgomery is out for 4 to 5 weeks. I'm going to put a little, asterisk on that because it could be 3 weeks with how David Montgomery heals. Damian Williams, who our backup running back is limited at practice right now with a quad injury. So kind of keep that on. If you're a fantasy owner, you definitely want Williams, at least in your flex. In my opinion, Colton, you're much more of an expert in that area. But, there is an opportunity for that. And then Andy Dalton is back in full participation from his knee injury. So happy to hear that. Best of luck to you, Andy Dalton. We are happy that you're a Chicago Bear. We're thankful for what you did and happy you're all good to go. So, Colton, I saw you're about to start speaking on the Damian Williams subject. So thank you again for coming on the show. What are your big takes this upcoming Sunday? And also talk a little bit more about yourself and what you do on Talk the Line.
All right, big takes first, and then we'll get into all things Talking the Line and what we do. So big takes, I think we have a very, very serious shot to win this outright. I think this is right around the time that Gruden's Raiders start to let a lot of people down, and I don't think that they deserve to be favored by almost 2 field goals over anybody. That's my humble opinion. As I've already said, will not be back in the Bears. I just simply don't do it. I backed them already once against the Browns at the 7.5 when Justin Fields got the start, and I don't want to be that bad juju. I can't allow that to happen. So I think we are going to have a very, very solid game. I think that defense really ratchets itself up. You mentioned, shout out to Sean Desai, has really come in after just being the defensive backs coach last year, really obviously learned a lot from Vic Fangio and came right in and did work. I thought we're going to see a little bit of struggles in the secondary. Obviously, they've really fixed that, kind of patched that up as far as I can tell. And then obviously that veteran presence of Eddie Jackson in the deep backfield, in the deep secondary. I absolutely love what I'm seeing from him. He was a little quiet in week 1. It's like, Eddie, where's that fire? Where's that dog, my man? And now he's up every single play. If he's not involved in the play, he's involved in the play, if you know what I'm saying. He's picking the guy up. He's dapping him up. He's doing what he needs to do to be that veteran presence. And that's what we need, because at the end of the day, there are some young guys still in that secondary and in that defense. So I think the defense continues to show out. I think we have something to cheer about. I don't want to get too over the moon. I don't want to get too wild. It definitely does help that Justin Fields is the starter going forward, but still a lot to prove, a lot to do. But hey, Bill Lazor keeps calling the plays. We keep on this right track, and hey, we might be singing Bears victory Monday come next week. But hey, I digress on all of that. Hopefully that is the tune we will be singing. As for me, nothing too major, man. I mean, I guess it is pretty major. We got a lot of stuff going on. Would love to merge our audiences, have you guys come over, have our guys come over there too. We are at Talking the Line once again on Twitter. You get it, Talking the Line, like the daily betting lines. We have a daily live show on YouTube from 10 a.m. till about 11:30. We have coined the phrase, let's cash some tickets. Monday, Thursday, and Friday, we cash tickets all day long. It's business as usual. And then right now, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we do a full recap of the previous week. And then this Wednesday, actually today, we just did a full gambling preview for week 5. We broke down game by game, gave our best insights, analysis, fantasy advice, stuff like that. You can't remember all of that. I said it too fast. I don't have Talking the Line down here in the bottom. Super easy thing you can do. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching it on your browser, you hit that little plus tab, you know, that thing up there that brings up a new browser, and type in talkingtheline.com. We have our full website. You'll see me and my partner, Riley Magnuson, at RMags. Shout out RMags. We're in the studio. He's in the other room right now, but shout out RMags. You'll see all of his content on there, our blogs, our daily show. And then we also have, for you new bettors and also the Daily Degenerates, the Wise Words podcast. Now, one final thing. What the hell or heck is that? I apologize. What is that? Well, it is for, like I said, the first-time bettor all the way to the Daily Degenerate, but it features some of the brightest, sharpest, most electric personalities in all of the sports gambling industry. So we've had 13-time world champion handicapper Joe D'Amico. We've had the deputy editor of sports betting at ESPN, David Behrman. We've talked to Preston Johnson, who is he calls himself the sports cheetah. He's big into betting. So we just had today Cam Rogers as well, sportsbook consigliere, just huge guys in our industry that we have been afforded the opportunity to network with, and that we're now able to share those networks with you guys. So if you're thinking about getting into betting, you've kind of been betting, you're like, I'm tired of losing money, man, I just don't know what it is. Don't think it's taboo. Don't get too afraid of it, because we like to have some fun. I said it at the top of the show. We like to sweat with you guys. We like to say, hey, we're not suits. We're normal, average, everyday guys. We like to have some fun. You'll see us kick back. We'll talk about bets. We'll talk about that stuff, but we'll have some fun doing it too. So check out the Daily Show, Talking the Line podcast. You can find it on YouTube, Talking the Line Sports Media, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then check us out from there. But once again, I am beyond humbled. You had me on, Nick. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it, my friend. We will definitely have to get a few more of these on the map. Any time that I can link up with another Redbird is a time that I will definitely pencil in on the calendar, my friend.
Absolutely. The door is always open over here too. And again, actually, Colton, just to make things easier, your handle is going to be, your Twitter handle is going to be directly below you in the episode. So make sure that you go to Colton's handle, and his website link will be in the description. So Colton, thank you very much for coming on again. It was great talking to you.
Hey, it's my pleasure, my friend. A blast to be able to give out some of my Bears hot takes. Hopefully, come Monday, I don't look like too much of a dummy, and what I said was actually right. Maybe you'll have me on again.
Absolutely. You're always going to come on no matter what. You know what? It's the beauty of sports. It happens,
yes,
my man.
Yes,
but
sir.
With that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, joined alongside Colton Schroka from Talking the Line Sports Media, and we will see you guys next time.